Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Off-Farm Income Podcast. Hey, thank you so much for joining us here on our YouTube channel for episode number 977. Well, I got to tell you, we've got an inspirational entrepreneur on the show today to talk about goal setting, big goal setting, and how she is going to get there. And she is just 15 years old, a sophomore in high school, coming from Southern Guilford High School in Greensboro, North Carolina. We're going to be speaking with Paige Haith, all about everything that she has been doing with pastry sales, another business that she's already starting, and where she wants to be by the time she's 19 years old. You'll be amazed by this and by her goals, and we're going to get that started for you right now. Paige, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you.
You bet. I am happy to speak with you. You're my very first interview since Christmas and New Year's. Even though we're airing this at the end of January, how are your holidays?
My holidays were pretty great. I enjoyed spending time with my family and being around loved ones.
Awesome. Well, I'm happy for that. And you're down in Greensboro, North Carolina, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm up in Idaho. I bet you're warmer than we are.
Probably, but it's still a little chilly down here.
It's still chilly. Well, it is January after all, so I guess that will happen, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm excited to speak with you today. Well, Paige, I'd love to ask you just a little bit about you so our audience can get to know who they're listening to. Is that be all right with you?
Yes, that's fine.
All right. Well, how old are you?
I'm 15.
15. So you're in the middle of your sophomore year right now, is that correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And when you're at home, are you on a farm? Are you in town or something in the middle of those two?
I would say in town.
In town.
A little bit of a mixture.
A mixture? Okay. So a little bit of land there, or kind of on the outskirts of town or something like that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Very good. And how long have you been part of the FFA?
I've been a part of FFA going on. This will be my second year taking FFA.
Very second year. Awesome. Good for you. Well, what brought you in? Why did you want to join this organization?
I wanted to join an organization just given the fact that it's something that helps out, and they I'm messing up a little bit.
Oh, you're fine.
The fact that they're just a really good organization and take on leadership and like very much of encouraging others to do better.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, how did you find out about that? Well, let me ask you a different question. So, at what point did learning leadership skills and things like that become important to you, and why did that happen?
It came important to me because I'm getting to get to the age where I'm growing up and getting to the adult life. So I figured it's about that time to go ahead and start getting in the form of being a leader and being able to life.
And then how did you find out that you could develop some of these leadership skills through the FFA?
With being put in the class, orientation on it, and my brother Keenan, he's in FFA, so I definitely looked up to FFA and possibly being in the same as him.
Got it. So your brother, he had actually gone through ahead of you.
Yes.
So a little bit of mentorship for you there.
Definitely.
That is great. Well, good for you. And now you've already entered into an officer role. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What is your officer role?
I'm the chaplain.
That is great. I love the fact that the FFA has this officer position of chaplain. Many, many different chapters do. So as chaplain, are chaplain's normally the type of role where they might have some sort of an invocation or a prayer at the beginning of a meeting or something like that, and the chaplain would lead in that? Is that what you do?
Yes, and greeting people also. I know that I didn't get a chance to experience it in school, so I don't really have like the information on like, okay, well, this is what I did do or this and that. But my brother did it, and I know that he was one of the ones in the front who, would speak, like you say, start with maybe prayer. And then he would greet the people, making sure they're comfortable there, always checking and making sure they're good.
Got it. And have you been able to go into school in person this year, or has it been like a half and half time at home, half time at school? How's it work for you?
I've been at home since March.
Oh man, so you guys didn't go back this fall at all?
No, not at all. They just kept pushing the date back, and it's just like we wasn't going back to school.
Oh, wow. So you've been you've been doing online school this entire time.
Yes, sir.
No, I mean, so you have the position, but you haven't actually been able to really do anything with it yet then.
No, I haven't. I really hate that because this is something I really look forward to my sophomore year and definitely spending time with my brother
Mm-hmm.
and being able to be a little bit like him.
Yeah, that's great. And so he's obviously still in high school and still in your FFA chapter?
Yes, he is.
Okay. Oh, very interesting. Man, I would love to see you be able to get back as well. Have they given you a date when they expect to be able to at least go back maybe part-time?
Um, they say something somewhere around January 20th, but they said that for middle school. They didn't really say anything about high school, so we're not really sure if we're going to be able to go back at all.
Wow. Well, I mean, obviously one of the strengths of being part of the FFA is everything you get to do in a group, and you learn group teamwork and leadership skills through being with all those people in the different competitions. So it's a tough year right now. I mean, it's been almost a year for you. You're
Yeah,
just shy of 2 months of not being in school at all, just looking at a computer.
yeah.
Very interesting. Well, man, I hope you get back. I hope you get back soon. Where I'm at in Idaho, my daughter, she's a freshman, and she gets to go halftime. She gets to go 2 days one week and 3 days the next, and then her off days are on the computer, which she wants to be there 5 days a week. But with that
Yeah.
said, it's a lot better than not being there at all, and so we're happy for that. Certainly would love to see you be able to come along on that as well. Well, so this is obviously a very challenging time for your school, for you as a student, and being part of the FFA. I'm assuming you've got a great FFA advisor behind you that's kind of helping you along the way.
Definitely. They give a lot of great advice and definitely a helping hand if you ever need anything or just going through it. Maybe just someone to lean on.
Absolutely. How many FFA advisors do you have there at Southern Guilford?
We have two.
Two? Would you mind just mentioning their names? We'd love to give them a shout out here on the show.
It will be Mr. Hensley and Miss Peeler.
Okay. Thank you for doing that. And I've worked with both of them in the past. I've been very helpful. Mr. Hensley recommended you for this interview, so he must really like what you're doing. And I'm excited to talk about your supervised agricultural experience as well.
Thank you.
So what are you doing, and what is the name of it?
I make pastries and the name is Pastries by Paige.
Awesome. I love it. Okay, so you are making pastries, and I'm assuming you're selling them, but maybe I'm wrong. Tell me how that all works.
Yes, I do sell them and I've been doing it since April of last year.
Okay, so you started in April. And how long have you been baking pastries?
For maybe about I'll say about a year, but definitely cooking and baking was definitely introduced to me on a younger level.
Okay.
So it kind of stuck with me a little bit.
So you've been doing it for a long time, but you got serious about it about a year ago.
Yes, I did.
That is great. So how many different varieties of pastries do you make and bake?
For right now, I make about 10, and some of them I haven't posted on Instagram,
Uh-huh.
but I've made about 10 different varieties that people could choose from.
Okay. Now I'm just going to ask something out of pure selfishness. Do you make croissants?
I do not.
That's okay. I would be spending, all my year's salary in postage having you ship me croissants if you were making those. So you're saving me money right now, Paige. Oh my goodness.
But it's definitely desserts that you can make croissants and make them very, very sweet.
Oh wow. Okay, so what types of things are you making?
I make cheesecake cups and of course banana pudding. I have this strawberry swirl cup where it's like a strawberry pudding and the little strawberry cakes. I put them in there and I design it. And I put strawberry crunch in it, so like a cracker type. And I make candy apples, but I took those off my page. I also make the cheesecake. I make jars. I put them in jars sometimes also. And I make Oreo cups and cinnamon toast crunch cups and also cinnamon bites.
Oh wow. Okay. Oh, you've got a sweet tooth. Or wait, I should ask, do you consume any of your own creations?
Not really, not a lot. I'll look at it and I'd be like, I kind of want that, but then I just be like, no, I'm just gonna sell it instead.
Wow, very cool. That sounds really good. I'm fascinated by this. You said cinnamon toast crunch cup. Is that what you said?
Yes.
That sounds really good. I mean, obviously that cereal sells a lot because it's so delicious, but whatever you're doing to enhance the flavor, I'm sure is very, very good.
Yes.
So do you have a most popular pastry and dessert that you're making?
I would say my most popular would be between my banana pudding one and my cinnamon toast crunch one.
Really?
I had made like this Cookie Monster cheesecake one with like Oreos, Chips Ahoy, the cheesecake, and also caramel. So that was very popular at one point, but I would have to put it between banana pudding and the cinnamon toast crunch cup.
Wow. Man, and do you make your own cheesecake as well?
Yes, I do.
Oh, this is about enough to get me to move to Greensboro, North Carolina. Right. Wow. Okay, man. I just got done with Christmas break, and I've got to get back on a. I got to get back on a better nutritional schedule here. But you're going to ruin all of this for me, Paige. Getting excited about all these desserts. Wow. Okay, so you're making all these. What gave you the idea to turn this into a business and to start selling these?
Oh, I left out one thing. I make cheesecake stuffed strawberries also, but it gave me the idea to go ahead and get serious because I had such a passion of just making stuff. And I realized I could be making a lot of stuff and turn it into a business. And a lot of that came from my mom also being able to say, well, I think this is something I really want to be serious about.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured this is a good time to start. I'm on a lot of downtime, so I figured this is a really good time for me to get myself together, get a business going, and have something for myself to say, oh, I did that at a young age.
I think you're 100% correct. This is a great time to start that. I mean, I love what you're doing. You're taking a situation that's not ideal, but you're turning it into an opportunity. And I think that's a really good lesson for people to hear in the show. And you're doing it at such a young age. I mean, it shows a lot of wisdom, Paige. That's really impressive. Now, I want to go. You just threw one thing in like it's nothing, and you said a strawberry stuffed with cheesecake. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, it's cheesecake inside of a strawberry topped with graham cracker crumbs.
Oh my goodness! So you hollow out a strawberry, you put cheesecake inside, and put a graham cracker crust on it.
Yes.
Oh man! Wow. Okay. Phenomenal. Okay. So, man, today's my second day of getting back on my nutritional plan. This is going to completely blow it for me. I can already tell. No. So let's talk about how you market your product. So you're using social media. And so when somebody goes to, say, your Instagram page or wherever else you're at, and they decide they want to purchase something from you, how do they go about doing that? And then how do they end up actually getting their hands on the product?
Well, this is what I have. I have my main account. I have another business that I'm working on right now, and I have my pastry account. So I put my pastry account inside of my main account and my other business that I'm working on. So that for them to go ahead and just click on that and they go see the prices and everything that I have. So that's a way that they put their orders in, and maybe sometimes they'll do it off my main account, which I really don't prefer because it gets mixed up in a lot of my personal things. So I'd rather just go to my business page.
Okay. And so you said you're starting another business. What is that?
It's called Livy Lavish Looks X Livy. It's basically going to be clothes and just apparel for females and maybe like some accessories.
Wow. Man, good for you. So you like this entrepreneurial working for yourself type of stuff?
Yes, I really do.
Now, is there somebody in your family who's a business owner that has kind of shown you this, or is this all coming from you?
I would say my mom. She had a lot of couple businesses not too long, maybe a little bit long ago, but they never stuck. It was just some stuff she maybe wanted to do, but then she maybe grew out of it. But a lot of my inspiration comes from my mom just being very successful by herself and, getting done with school,
Mm-hmm.
Sticking to what she wanted to do in life and getting there and being as successful as she is. It's a very high standard that I have for myself and that she has for me. And it's only right that I meet that and show her that I do appreciate everything she's had done.
That is great. Man, I love that part of your story. That's fantastic. Okay, back to your business. Somebody orders a a strawberry stuffed cheesecake. I'm probably saying that wrong, but I'm fascinated with this product. They order that from you. How do they actually get it in their hands? Do they come to your house? Do you deliver? How does that all work?
At first I was delivering pre-COVID and a little bit of COVID, but I was like, I didn't want to risk that at all. So I started doing meetups instead of coming to people's houses. So I usually came to their house. I don't let people come to my house, given the fact of this is where I stay. So I'd rather just meet up with them somewhere.
Okay. And so you just designate a spot and you meet up and you pass off the food you've made for them, the desserts.
Yes, probably like always a spot where, it's a lot of people surrounded. But so it's usually a gas station.
Okay. Awesome. Now, as far as your business goes, where are you making the most sales? I mean, you're of a different generation than me. You're 15 years old and you're doing this all on social media. Which social media site do you make your most sales on?
It will be between Snapchat and Instagram.
Snapchat and Instagram. Interesting. And I don't even use Snapchat. I'm not familiar with it at all. What's the strength of showing your products there? How does that work?
Well, on Snapchat alone, I get a lot of views. So I get about 1,000 views. So with that, I use my platform and it gets a lot of people. A lot of people will swipe up, oh, where's this from? Who's this? Just for me to say, well, I make it. Okay. And I sell it. And that's how they start with their order. Oh, can I get this? Are you available this day? And all that.
That is great. Man, good for you. That is wonderful. And when you first started out, did you start out with all these 10 different pastries that you were making, or have you added some on as time has gone on?
I added on as time came on. At first, I was a little, not too sure about what should I do. But I started small. I started about with 1, and I went to 2, and just kept adding. And sometimes I even dropped 2 things at once.
Awesome. And good for you. Okay, so you're just about done with your sophomore year of high school, and then you'll be on to being a junior, then a senior. Is working for yourself, having your own business, is this something that you'd like to grow and do more of in the future, maybe after high school?
Yes, this is very ongoing for me. Right now is my kiddie time for me to have my little mess ups and just stack up to being mature enough and eligible for a business. Because soon I want my own storefront and I want to be able to say, well, you can go there to make orders instead of everyone having to come through DM. Okay, well, this is where I'm at in my store. And eventually I would like to have at least 2 stores in different states.
That is awesome. Those are great goals, Paige. How did you come up with those goals?
Just given the fact of just marketing and just putting myself out there, not being like the one to rethink, oh, should I do this? Should I do this? And just doing it. I get that from my mom a lot. She doesn't really think. She snaps. She does it. She's successful. So I definitely take a lot from her when it comes to maybe a business idea or like just business or just making money, period. So I really do get that from her. And she's a big, really huge part of my success. I can say that.
That is great. I love the tribute to your mom. Do you have a timeline? You've got this goal of having 2 storefronts in 2 different states. Do you have a timeline by when you want to have that accomplished?
I'm 15 now, and I feel like if I'm on the right track and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, my money is being in the right places. I feel like maybe by 18 or 19, and 20 is kind of pushing it, but I'd rather have it by 18 or 19, my first storefront, and have it to be the best one I have. It's gonna be very girly, very girly. But I do give myself about 4 years. I give myself about 4 years to be in a really good spot and be very successful with that store.
And that is great. I love that you've got a timeline, and it really helps you to kind of focus and figure out what steps you need to be taking to accomplish those goals within that time frame, and that is great. Paige, I'd love to end on this question, and that is you're so inspirational as an entrepreneur. You've got this attitude of I can do it, and I'm going to do it. For another FFA student who's coming behind you, and they think they might like to start their own business, obviously you don't procrastinate. You get going, you get started, and that is a key to starting any business, is to just start. What advice do you have for students out there coming behind you on how to get started?
I would say how to get started. Just like any and everything has a start. Everything has the plan. Start writing down what you want to do. Start manifesting your goals. And if you really want it and you're pushing for it, you'll have it. And it will come true. And you just have to do your part and not depend on others to pick up the slack when maybe you're not feeling like it. You have to stick with what you're doing no matter what anyone says, because it's going to be ears. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't know. Stick with what you want to do, manifest it, and you'll get there. You'll get there sooner or later.
That is really, really good advice, Paige. Man, it has been a thrill to meet you, and I see big things in your future. Hopefully someday when you're getting interviewed, by NBC News or somebody like that, and they ask you what the first interview you ever did. I don't know if I am it, but if I am it, hopefully you go, oh, this little podcast called Off-Farm Income, because I think that's where you're headed.
Definitely. Thank you so much. I appreciate the great feedback.
Thank you very much for being here, everybody, and thank you to Paige Haith for coming on the Off-Farm Income podcast today and sharing that great story. I'm excited to see where this one goes, everybody. Well, hey, we really appreciate you being here. We would love to have you subscribe right down there with that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. And, of course, we'd love to have you follow us and connect with us on all of our other social media outlets on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And, hey, everybody, as always, enjoy your journey to the ultimate lifestyle business, agriculture.